people. Brini Maxwell here, and I just wanted to give you an update on the renovation. It's coming along nicely. Now, this is the room that you saw me do the paint stripping in a little while back, and all that stripping has been done, and all the sanding and all the priming, and well, I think it looks wonderful. So I am about ready to work on this lovely little wall unit that I found on Craigslist. Isn't it charming? It's sort of a Hollywood Regency style that's been interpreted by the Danish modern people. It's lots of fun, and here's what it looked like when I first got it. I had a very dirty day a little while ago, and I stripped all of the finish off of it using an orbital sander. And it was quite a lot of work, and well, there was dust everywhere for a while, but now that that's all been cleaned up, I have also spent some time sanding away the surface of the finish on the pieces that I couldn't use the orbital sander on. And you start using the coarse grit sandpaper, then down to the fine grit for a nice smooth finish. Then you're pretty much ready to paint, and the paint will stick. Before we actually do the painting, we have to prime. And so I am about to start priming with this drawer. Isn't that nice? This is from the interior of the desk. Now, I am using an oil base primer because we want a nice durable finish on this. And it does give a really beautiful finish. I smell that paint. If only you could just scratch and sniff the screen. You could smell it along with me. Well, I finished priming and painting the wall unit, and as you can see, I've painted the details with this lovely little yellow-green color. Now, this is done with glaze mixed with paint, and that glaze gives it a slightly uneven quality, which is really very pretty and very painterly. Now I'm getting down to the business of antiquing it, and the first step is to rough up the pieces with a little bit of sandpaper. Now, the sandpaper that I'm using is a 60 grit, which is very coarse, and basically you don't want to go over the surface with that as much as you do the edges. But when you go over the edges with this, you know, and this may seem counterintuitive, messing something up that you've just spent so much time painting perfectly, but really it's the first step to a nicely antiqued piece. The edges, you want to start seeing the wood through the edges. All right, now you want to do this antiquing specifically in places where actual wear might occur on the piece, but you can put wear in on spots that you think will be aesthetically pleasing. I think that's nicely roughed up. I'm going to brush this off with a dry rag, clean it up a little bit, and get ready for our dirtying it up. Again, counterintuitive, clean it up to dirty it up, but we want to put the dirt where we want it. Very good. All right, now, our next step is to apply a little glaze, again, glaze, that's been tinted with a dirty color. Now, I'm using a glaze here that has been tinted with a color called Enduring Bronze. And the nice thing about this is that it's a very forgiving technique. So we're going to open this up, and we're going to start by dipping our brush into the glaze, but we're going to wipe the brush off until it's almost dry. And then we are going to wipe it across here. And I know you're saying, oh no, it's ruined because there's so much material on there. But no, it's not. You'll find that using a slightly damp rag, that this wipes in and then wipes away almost completely, giving us a slight hint of age without the dark streaks that we started with. And you'll need to change your rag every so often. But there you have a subtle aging. And the nice thing about this is the pigment in this will help stain the wood that you have exposed by sanding. You just brush that on, and then with our wet rag, rub it in and rub it off. And you see that our surfaces are starting to get that aged look. And our exposed wood is starting to pick up some of that enduring bronze color, which gives it a lovely old world look. Now that we've applied our glaze and we have this lovely antique shelf here, see, it looks all old, like it's been sitting around for years. We have one more antiquing step to do, and that step is done with a little bit of stain. And what we're going to do, oh, it's stinky. Now what we're going to do with this stain is we are going to dip another ratty, old, or inexpensive new paintbrush in it. And then we're going to take a rag here and we're going to brush it off so most of it is gone, because we don't want big droplets. We're going to be putting speckles on our shelf. So we're going to take a screwdriver, and I'm going to hold that in my left hand. You may be holding it in your right. And we're going to take the brush and lightly tap it against the screwdriver. And it creates the tiniest, tiniest speckles. And those little tiny speckles just look like age. They look like little things have spattered on it, or dust has settled into the grain and it can't be removed anymore. And this is a somewhat messy process. You're probably going to want to wear protective clothing while you're doing this, though I'm not. You may find that you have some little speckles on yourself. The stain, depending on the weather, sometimes takes a day or two to dry. So you want to leave these sit for a little while. But it's a lovely detail. And you can use other things besides stain. For a sort of mod or poppy look, you could use bright colors. Or for Hollywood Regency, why not use a gold leaf paint? Little speckles of gold. Isn't that lovely? So this is really the process of antiquing that I use, and it's very simple and it really looks wonderful. The last step is to coat everything with a polyurethane or polyacrylic. Now, personally, I prefer a polyacrylic because a polyacrylic will not yellow over time, whereas a polyurethane that is oil-based will yellow. And as you can see, I'm working on a white piece of furniture here. So not only that, but the yellowing would also affect the color of my details, which I don't want that to happen. So that's how we do it. And now if you'll stick with me, I'll show you how it all comes out. It's just going to be beautiful, I know it. And here it is, all finished. Isn't it charming? I've styled it all up, and I was so happy to be able to unpack some of my books and put them on the shelves. I just love how the antiquing came out. The little speckles, one of my favorite aspects, really looks wonderful, I think. And look at these drawer handles. I did the same technique on the drawer handles as I did on the unit itself, and I think it came out very nicely. Now, I had this top made, and it's a Formica top, and it extends the work surface to give me two spaces to sit, which I think is really useful. And the Formica will be very easy to clean and take care of. I won't get any rings if I set a wet glass down on it. I love that. I was lucky enough to find a Formica that really coordinates beautifully with the little green details that I put on the unit. And now we've put the unit up against the wall, which we have applied our wonderful vintage wallpaper to. The wallpaper that we found on eBay that has a flocked surface to it over gold. I think it looks very pretty and sets the unit off nicely. Now this lighting fixture here, when I found it, was black and rather severe looking. But I just gave it the same treatment as the desk, and I think it came out rather charming, don't you? I even antiqued my bee over there, and isn't that festive? So now I want you all to go out and antique some furniture. It really is very simple, and I'm sure you'll be pleased with the results. If you do, make sure to make a video response, or at least take some pictures and send them to me. I'd love to see what you do. Until next time, I'm Brini Maxwell. Bye now.